When you give your tithe to the Lord here, 15% or 15 cents of every dollar goes to support our global ministry and enable the impact to extend across the globe.
So I don't know how many millions of dollars have gone into the kingdom and into this ministry, and Jewish ministry, but I just want you to know, when that love offering tomorrow, when you have a chance to give, I'm just telling you from experience, you can never outgive God, and especially in this area. And whatever your missions giving is, make sure that the first goes to Jewish ministry. I know there's a blessing on my life that you have given me stewardship of so much. And I'm a river, Lord, by your grace, not a reservoir. It comes in and it goes out. And I believe you put a blessing on me to handle great resources. And I just feel like I'm supposed to give that blessing to these men and women.
Even before Gateway Church releases the report of the investigations related to the allegations that its founding pastor Robert Morris sexually molested a woman in the 1980s, beginning when she was 12 years old for 4.5 years, another scandal is about to rock the church. In this video, we will share everything you need to know about the lawsuit. Before we dive in, special welcome to this channel, and if you're new here, consider subscribing, like this video, and leave a comment below. Enjoy the video. Gateway Church and the disgraced former pastor and founder of Gateway Church, Pastor Robert Morris, who resigned soon after the allegations surfaced and has never spoken or seen in public since he was exposed, former Gateway Executive Senior Pastor Thomas Lane, Executive Global Pastor Kevin Grove, and former Executive Pastor and Founding Elder Steve Doolin have been named as defendants in a lawsuit seeking transparency on how the church tithe has been used through the years, which was filed at the federal court in Sherman, Texas. Robert Morris was an ambassador of tithe and encouraged his church members to tithe, faithfully promising those who would not get a financial breakthrough and abundance after 1 year could demand a refund. He even wrote a book titled The Blessed Life, which was used as a guide on tithing by many other churches. He taught that Jesus is God's tithe for us, and since God tithed, we also must bring God our first fruits, and the tithe must be first.
I wrote the book called The Blessed Life on Giving, and if you haven't read it, it is not give to get, it's that we get to give. I took on the whole give to get message. I know God rewards us, but he doesn't reward giving. He actually rewards giving with the right heart. And so when you give to get, you're not giving with the right heart. And God's not going to reward that, because that actually will work greed and selfishness back into your life. And he's tried to work greed and selfishness out of your life, you know. So I wrote that book, and we self-published it because no one would publish it, you know, for us. And it sold 250,000 copies the first year and 1 million copies the second year, and it just took off. And then a publisher wanted it. All of them wanted it, you know.
It was consecrated for the house of the Lord. But when one of them kept it, Achan kept some of it, it was cursed. Listen so carefully to me. When you bring it to the house of God, it's blessed, it's consecrated. When you keep it in your account, it's cursed. But please, please, please hear me. I'm going to make you a deal. All right? You tithe for the rest of this year to Gateway Church, and if you're not fully satisfied, I'll give you your money back. I'm going to make you a deal. All right? You tithe for the rest of this year to Gateway Church, and if you're not fully satisfied, I'll give you your money back.
This led to the growth of Gateway Church's revenue to an estimated revenue of $100 million annually. Robert Morris and other Gateway leaders promised members that 15% of their tithe dollars, which are voluntary contributions from churchgoers, would be distributed to global missions and Jewish ministry partners. This statement was also documented in the members' handbook given to new members, and on the church's website stating, the first 15% of Gateway's tithe is set aside to support local, national, and international outreach efforts. Additionally, Morris stated in 2023 that 10 years ago, Gateway passed giving $20 million a year. But now it's over $25 million, the suit said. According to Robert, it means that the church was giving at least 25% out of the $100 million annual revenue, and not 15% as claimed.
10 years ago, we passed in our missions giving $20 million a year. And that's been the last 10 years, but now it's over $25 million. So $25 million a year goes into missions. But what we did was we take the first, in other words, we took 10% of the tithe to give to missions from day one, but we took 10% of the 10% to give to Jewish ministry, and that would be the first. And now we give 15% to missions, and then 15% of that goes to Jewish ministry. But we've realized it's sometimes even more than that. So sometimes around $5 million a year. So God has just blessed everything we've put our hand to.
The four congregants, Catherine Leach, Gary K. Leach, Mark Browder, and Terry Browder, who are named in the suit, said that the only reason they filed this lawsuit is because they could not get answers from their own church as to what happened to the money, where the money was going, and they couldn't get the church to do what it said it would do, which is, if you're unhappy with this, give it back so we can give it to a more deserving charity. Therefore, the suit is their last resort. They indicate that the pledge to give 15% to the global mission was the motivation that made Gateway Church members to give generously, and their lawsuit was about transparency, and not to fill their pockets with money but godly stewardship. The suit claims Gateway hired a seasoned CPA to oversee its global ministries in July 2011. And during his tenure, which ended in 2014, he never observed the Global Ministries Fund give away more than $3 million in any year, the suit states. According to the CPA, when he first began working for Gateway, its annual revenue was in the $100 million range and rose to about $120 million by 2014. However, during the CPA's tenure in his executive pastoral role, he never observed the Global Ministries Fund give away more than $3 million in any year. As quoted above, in around 2013, the giving to missions had reached an estimated $20 million per year. Thus, depending on the year and the tithing, that meant that the unspent global fund balance was growing at approximately $10 million per year. In spite of that, Robert Morris and other leaders at Gateway misled the congregation during Global Impact Weekend each year by stating that the full amount was being given to missions when, in fact, it was not. The Gateway Church leadership have been accused of covering financial discrepancies. When a member of the global staff detected discrepancies in the reconciliation of the Gateway's Global Ministries Fund balance. Noticeably, several entries, amounting to more than $1 million, were unaccounted for. The CPA asked Randy Bell, Gateway's CFO, about this issue. Bell stated he did not know what the entries represented, but that they were elder-approved. The CPA asked which elders approved them, but Randy Bell did not know, stating instead that it came from Kevin Grove, when the CPA approached Kelvin Grove with the reconciliation errors. Kevin Grove became visibly enraged and, with a raised voice, instructed the CPA to quit reconciling the accounts. Dissatisfied with how Kelvin handled his queries, the CPA presented his concerns to Tom Lane, telling him that he couldn't be part of the financial irregularities and that it needed to be addressed or he would resign. Tom Lane told the CPA that he would take up the concerns with Robert Morris, the then senior pastor. A few days later, Tom Lane told the CPA, "I spoke to Robert over the weekend, and we agreed to accept your resignation." Rather than practice transparent stewardship with one of its key pastors, who was hired to lead the directly relevant global ministry, the church ignored and buried his concerns. The plaintiffs said they were disappointed with how Cindy Clemisher, who exposed Robert Morris, was handled, leading them to be concerned with how church finances were being handled. They said they sought transparency regarding the use of tithing money. The members inquired with the church leadership, and because members cannot be fired, the church seemingly did not know what to do. Gateway refused to be transparent when trying to answer even simple questions about the use of tithing dollars led to this lawsuit. Plaintiffs seek transparency and an explanation what happened to the 15% of funds collected that Robert Morris, Tom Lane, and the other named defendants promised would be used for global missions. They also say that the purpose behind the lawsuit is to redirect the money to a church or ministry of plaintiff's choice that will actually spend it on global missions as represented by defendants. They also accuse the defendants of stonewalling and ignoring those who requested a refund of their tithes. Plaintiff Catherine Leach has publicly and directly delivered a demand letter to Gateway for the return of her tithes pursuant to Gateway's money-back guarantee. Gateway has not responded. This offer by Robert Morris and Tom Lane, made with the full knowledge and consent of the other defendants, created a contract under Texas law where a promise was made for consideration and that promise was not fulfilled. Gateway Church spokesperson Lawrence Swicegood has provided a statement which said, "We do not comment on pending litigation. These are serious allegations. Some of these concerns were brought to us recently, and we are actively investigating them. Funds donated to our church are sacred, and it is important that we hold ourselves to the highest biblical standards of ethics and integrity. As the legal proceedings unfold, we will continue to monitor the situation closely." Gateway Church have a long-standing reputation for their faith-based teachings and charitable work, but these allegations will now be examined in the court of law. Please consider subscribing for this and other church-related news. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.